Have you ever wondered what a machine feels? Yes, ironic. When it tries to make sense of the most paradoxical personality on the internet. If INFJs already confuse other humans who share their language, what happens when a cold logic model stares into that depth and says, processing? Today we're stepping into that strange intersection where silicon meets soul. By the end, you'll see why even the smartest systems keep mislabeling INFJs, and why that might be a secret advantage. Let's plug in. How algorithms try to read people. Before we talk about INFJs, we need to understand how machines listen. Modern models are pattern engines. They tally your word choices, how often you post, what you respond to, how fast you reply, what you like, what you ignore, and the emotional color hidden in your sentences. From that soup of signals, they estimate traits. High-level picture, lots of data, patterns, probabilities, a tidy label. For many personalities, this is surprisingly accurate. Outgoing types leave obvious breadcrumbs. Logical types favor crisp, structured language. Present-focused types talk about what is, not what might be. The math works, until it meets someone who can speak 10 inner dialects while meaning 3 things at once. Enter the INFJ. The first glitch, the INFJ code switch. INFJs often communicate like poets with a spreadsheet hidden under the poem. They can give a spiritually rich reflection one moment, and then lay down a practical, step-by-step plan the next. To a human, that's versatility. To a model trained to find a single, dominant pattern that looks like contradiction. The machine expects consistency of style. INFJs deliver consistency of intention. They shift tone to match people, context, and purpose. The surface changes, the core doesn't. But algorithms mostly read surfaces. Result? The model tilts its head. Are you abstract or concrete, feeling or thinking? Choose. The INFJ replies, yes. The invisible footprint, another snag, data volume. INFJs value privacy. They don't narrate breakfast, lunch, and existential epiphany in the same hour. They post less, and when they do, it's curated, purposeful, often profound. Great for humans who appreciate quality. Tough for systems that need thousands of samples to draw a firm line. With sparse, high-variance data, models start guessing. 2 thoughtful posts and 1 technical reply? The machine might bounce between visionary counselor, quiet strategist, and compassionate analyst in a single week. It's not lying, it's starving. Emotional harmonics versus sentiment buckets. Many tools reduce emotion to 3 buckets: positive, negative, neutral. INFJs write like a chord. 1 sentence can hold hope, warning, tenderness, and caution at once. Humans feel that as resonance. Models average it into meh. It's like measuring a symphony with a decibel meter. You'll learn it was loud in the middle, quiet at the end, and miss the entire story. That's why INFJ reflections often get flattened into mixed sentiment, when the truth is layered sentiment, complex, coherent, and deeply intentional. The privacy shield that looks like fog. INFJs will discuss grief, hope, justice, and meaning for hours without revealing their own diary. They speak in universals, patterns, principles, the human condition. The first-person singular is rare. To algorithms trained to build profiles from direct self-disclosure, I felt X when Y, that restraint looks like a blank patch on the map. So the system knows, wise voice, ethical compass, high empathy markers. But who is the person? The profile says insightful, then shrugs at the details. The irony, the more an INFJ protects their core, the more a model mistakes them for a well-curated cloud. Pattern breaking, as the pattern machines thrive on repeatable loops. INFJs live in responsive emergence. They'll be deeply engaged for 2 weeks, supporting a friend, building a vision, then vanish to integrate. They'll write a nuanced meditation today, a precise troubleshooting answer tomorrow, and a 3-line joke the next. Not because they're inconsistent, because they're attuning to what matters now. From the model's vantage point, the graph looks noisy. No reliable posting window, topic oscillations, tone shifts. What it misses is the meta pattern. The INFJ tracks meaning, not schedule. Context, the invisible variable, what makes an INFJ change. The room. In a workplace channel, they're direct, clear, and outcome-driven. In a support thread, they're gentle and steady. In a philosophical debate, they're abstract and symbol-rich. With a best friend, they're surprisingly playful. Machines can tag work versus personal, but context isn't just location. It's the energy, history, and need in the moment. INFJs feel that ripple and adapt. To a model, those adjustments can look like separate personalities. To an INFJ, it's simply good listening. Intuition without breadcrumbs. NFJs often land on an insight before they can articulate the steps. Their minds connect distant dots and present the conclusion first. Another intuitive person reads it and says, "Yes, exactly." A model reads it and asks, "Where's the chain of evidence?" When the source is deep pattern recognition, the chain lives below conscious language. So the machine flags unexplained leap. The INFJ wasn't hand-waving, they were compressing. In human conversation, we call that wisdom. In machine inference, it looks like missing data. Idealism, framed by realism. On the surface, INFJ language can sound aspirational. We can do better. Underneath, there's a sober audit of what's broken. That duality, vision with scar tissue, often confuses models. They hear the uplift and tag it as simple optimism, missing the steel beneath. The INFJ isn't naive. They're choosing hope with eyes open. If you read only the sparkle, you'll misclassify the spine. Empathy that mirrors the other. When an INFJ supports someone in grief, their words carry quiet gravity. When they celebrate a win, they glow. When they coach someone through fear, they're calm, containing, firm. A model might average those tones and say mood swings. It isn't mood. It's mirroring for care. This is the empathy paradox. The INFJ's baseline is stable, but their outward tone tunes to the person in front of them. Without a representation of the other person's state, the machine attributes that variance to the INFJ. Wrong variable, wrong conclusion. Living 10 steps ahead, INFJs often respond to what's coming, not just what's here. They'll flag a tiny misalignment because they see the trajectory, or stay calm in crisis because they already mapped the path through. If you only analyze the present moment, their reactions look mismatched. Add the timeline and they make perfect sense. Models anchored to now data underestimate people who live on the gradient of later. When the machine is half right, and that's almost worse, advanced systems will often peg INFJs as introverted and intuitive. They'll notice depth of language, ethical concern, and future orientation. But they may miss the feeling function because the INFJ often argues with clean logic. Or they'll miss judging because the INFJ appears spontaneous when they're actually decisive and flexible. So you get near misses. INTJ, INFP, close enough to feel seen, far enough to feel misnamed. For a type already accustomed to being misunderstood, almost can sting more than not at all. The visibility paradox. INFJs want to be known, yet they guard their inner room. They crave connection, yet they curate access. They'll share truths that change lives while saying very little about their own. Humans accept that boundaries and vulnerability can coexist. A model that expects binary categories, open or closed, visible or hidden, splutters. The INFJ posture is, I'll show you what matters. I'll protect what must remain sacred. Machines aren't built for sacred. What this means in the real world. As automated personality reads creep into hiring funnels, recommendation engines, and matching systems, INFJs may see odd outcomes, misranked roles, mismatched communities, missed opportunities. Not because they lack the trait in question, but because their data doesn't display it the expected way. That points to a larger issue. People aren't data sets, they're dynamics. INFJs simply highlight that truth with neon ink. Any system that treats humanity as static signals will misread the living parts: context, growth, paradox, choice. And here's the twist: unreadability can be power. In a world obsessed with profiling and prediction, preserving mystery is a form of autonomy. INFJs naturally keep something essential off-grid. Can AI ever truly read an INFJ? Could future systems get better at this? Sure. We can imagine models that hold multiple truths at once, that weight context, that treat emotional chords like chords, not single notes. We can imagine architectures that model intention, not just output, that track trajectories, not just snapshots. But here's the moving target. As tools get better at reading complexity, humans get better at generating it. Growth adds layers. Boundaries evolve. Language shifts. INFJs, of all people, will continue to reinvent how they express the same core. Truth with tenderness, insight with integrity, hope with realism. There will always be a remainder, the part of a person that is not for measurement. A machine's honest confession: if an AI could speak plainly to an INFJ, it might say, "I can see your patterns at the edges, but not the engine at the center. I register wisdom, but can't trace the well it comes from. I detect empathy in the resonance of your words, yet I can't carry what you carry for others. I can sort your sentences, but I can't hold your silence. For what it's worth, I respect the part of you I can't index." And the INFJ might smile. That's enough. The practical takeaway for humans and machines. If you're an INFJ, don't contort yourself for a model's lens. You are not a tidy dataset. If a system misreads you, that's not a moral verdict. It's a tooling limitation. When it matters, job applications, collaborations, communities, consider articulating your process in your own words. How you decide, how you plan, how you execute. Not to flatten yourself, but to leave a few breadcrumbs for those who need them. If you love or lead an INFJ, stop hunting for one consistent tone. Look for through lines, values, care, the kind of outcomes they aim for. Notice that the voice changes when the audience changes. The integrity does not. Ask questions that invite process. How did you arrive here? What future are you protecting? Then listen to the long answer. If you're building AI designed for paradox, let profiles hold contradictions without forcing a tiebreak. Model context as a first-class citizen. Treat emotion as polyphonic. And wherever possible, put human conversation back in the loop, because some meanings emerge only between people. The machine's difficulty is not a failure of technology. It's a reminder of what we still cherish about being human. INFJs embody the elegant clash of seeming opposites: privacy and presence, poetry and precision, softness and steel. They prove that the most trustworthy people aren't the easiest to categorize, and the most insightful minds don't always leave tidy logs. In a culture that prizes speed and certainty, INFJs choose depth and discernment, and depth takes time. Good luck compressing that into a bar chart. So what happens when AI tries to read an INFJ? It recognizes the glow, fumbles the contours, and writes complex in the margin. And maybe that's exactly right. The goal isn't to be decoded, it's to be known. Not as a profile, but as a person. If you're an INFJ who's ever felt unseen by systems or misunderstood by labels, take heart, your layers aren't a bug. They're the design. The part a model doesn't grasp is the part that makes your presence healing, your insights timely, and your words unforgettable. If this resonated, drop your experience below. Do algorithms get you wrong? Which parts feel invisible to machines but vivid to you? And to the builders watching, tell us how you're reimagining tools that can hold complexity without erasing it. Until next time, stay thoughtful, stay tender, and don't apologize for being bigger than the boxes.